Hello students, today we're going to learn section 6.2, Properties of Parallelograms. In 6.1 we discussed how quadrilaterals with opposite pairs of parallel lines is called a parallelogram. Today we're going to discuss more properties of a parallelogram. Opposite sides are congruent. So AB is congruent to DC, BC is congruent to AD. Opposite angles are congruent. Angle A is congruent to angle C. Angle B is congruent to angle D. Again, A is opposite C. B is opposite D. There are also same-side interior angles. A plus B, it's on the same side. If we extend the parallel lines cut by the transversal, A and B are same-side interior angles and they equal 180. So is D and C. That equals 180. Angle B plus angle C equals 180, and angle A plus angle D is equal to 180 degrees. A few more properties of a parallelogram. So ZX is a diagonal. When you connect a vertex to the other opposite vertex, WY is also a diagonal. So we'll call WY diagonal 2 and XZ diagonal 1. Diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. The word bisect means cuts in half. Therefore, we know WU is congruent to YU. WU congruent to YU. ZU is congruent to XU. So those are the properties of a parallelogram. Now we'll discuss another theorem in this section. If AB is parallel to CD is parallel to EF, and they get intersected by two transversals, and AC is congruent to CE, then we know that any other transversal that cuts these parallel lines, BD will be congruent to DF. Alright, now let's go over some examples. So here is example 1. So example 1, we have parallelogram QKMO. They want us to find angle O, angle M, and angle K. Well, this is what we know. If angle Q is 35, we know angle M is 35 because opposite angles are congruent. Well, we also know angle K plus angle Q, same side interior, equals 180. Subtract 35 degrees from both sides. Angle K is now 145 degrees. If that's the case, we know angle O is going to also equal 145 degrees. Alright, example 2. We have another parallelogram here. Alright, so here's parallelogram ABCD. We know opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent, so let's just write that down. Alright, so angle D is congruent to angle B. Let's substitute 135 minus x for D, x plus 15 for B. Add x to both sides, we get 135 equals 2x plus 15. Subtract 15, 120 equals 2x, and x is equal to 60. So we found x, but they want us to find the angle measures. Well, we know angle B is x plus 15. We know x is 60. So substitute 60 for x. Angle B is 75 degrees. So if this is 75 degrees, I know angle D is also 75 degrees because opposite angles are congruent. Well, then we could find angle A and angle C. Since angle A and angle D are same side interior angles, they add up to 180 degrees. D is 75 degrees. Subtract 75 from both sides. Angle A is 105 degrees. Well, if angle A is 105 degrees, we know angle C is 105 degrees because opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Next, we have this parallelogram. They want us to find x, y, ln, and km. Okay, so since these are diagonals, they bisect each other. LA is equal to NA, KA is congruent to MA. So that's what we have here. X, that's LA, is equal to 7y minus 16. So X equals 7y minus 16. KA equals MA. 2x plus 5 equals 5y. Now we have two equations, we have two variables. So I'm going to do the substitution method, something you might have learned in Algebra 1. So I'm going to substitute this wherever I see an x. So this is 2 times 7y minus 16 for x plus 5 equals 5y. And this, made a mistake, this should be 5. Okay. So now distribute the 2. We have 14y minus 32 plus 5 equals 5y. Combine like terms, negative 32 plus 5 is negative 27. 14y minus 27 equals 5y. Subtract 5y from both sides. 9y minus 27 equals 0. Add 27 on both sides. Then y is equal to 3. Now we could find x. We just substitute in here. X equals 7. Y is 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. 21 minus 16 is 5. So x equals 5. So we found x. We found y. Now they want us to find ln. So ln is this entire diagonal. Well, if we know what LA is, we could just double it to get ln. You can use the segment addition property that you learned earlier in this semester. So we know that LA is x. So LA is 5. So therefore this is 5. We know AN has to be 5 because we said LA and AN are congruent. Diagonals are bisectors. So 10 equals ln. Now they want us to find km. They want us to find this entire diagonal. Well, again, we know that Ka plus Ma equals Km. Well, Ka is 5y. Well, we know y is 3. So that's 15. If Ka is 15, if Ka is 15, then Ma has to be 15. And that's Ma. So 30 equals Km. That's it for today. Thanks.